makeup friends, so it is time to do a little bit of a retrospective. I've brought out all of the items that I purchased in December and we are going to go through them today. I'm going to give you some updated thoughts where I have them, but I've also gone ahead and ranked them from the items that I have liked the least to the items that I have liked the most. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's get into it. Alright, before we get started, I want to welcome you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel, we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Really quickly, the eyes. I did film this look. It is coming from the Lunar New Year palette from BH Cosmetics. I'm quickly falling in love with this palette, guys. I truly am. I'm very pleased with the quality of it. There, I'm spoiling a future video, but I am going to be doing at least 3 looks. I have filmed 3 looks so far, but I'm thinking I might do another 1 or 2. We'll see. Look for that coming up soon. Now, if you are new here, you may not be aware, but in December of 2020, I set out a year-long beauty budget for myself. I might have optimistically referred to it as a low-buy year. Wildly inaccurate. That is not what this is, but I do have a monthly budget. Have I adhered to it in December or January? Not so much, but I'm trying. I'm at least aware of it, and it is making me think about my purchases before I make them. So that is kind of the key element, but it is a work in progress. In the early part of February, I will put up a video talking about the items that I purchased in January, tallying it all up, and away we go. I did that for the purchases that I made in December. If I think about it, I will stick a card up here. But what I thought is more helpful for you than me just being like, here's what I bought, is saying, here's what I bought, and I've been playing with them for at least a month. Here's my thoughts, here's how it's kind of evolved over time, and also here's the ranking. So let's get into it. So coming in last place, I have 11 items here. So number 11 for me is the liquid shadow from Too Faced in the shade Amaretto. Has nothing to do with the actual performance of the product. I actually really like these liquid eyeshadows. I find that they blend out really well. You don't have to work like at a panic-induced state. Like, it's not so fast that it's impossible to work with, but you do have to like one eye at a time. Like you do have to work fairly quickly, but it's not a stressful situation. We'll put it that way. My problem with this is just the shade of it. It doesn't really flatter my eye color, it doesn't flatter my skin tone, so it is workable in terms of like a base layer, and then I can add other shadows on top of it, but I can't use it as a one and done in the way that I can with other shades that I have in this product, thinking specifically of Chocolate Chai, and what's the deep one? Chocolate Wine? Is that what it's called? Yes. So Chocolate Wine and Chocolate Chai, here's what they look like. I prefer these ones over Amaretto. All right, number 10 is this lip product here from Clarins. This is the Lip Comfort Oil Intense, and I have it in Intense Raspberry. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The only reason why I'm ranking it as low as I am is because I just don't reach for it. So it's not that I dislike it, it's just I have so many lip products that I tend to just cycle through them, and it's very rare for me to like continually go back to the same product over and over again. I do. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes time, but this is not one of the ones that I'm like, oh, that's the one that I want to wear. It's a good product, but in terms of what I purchased, it's just ranking on the lower side of things. And that's a point I want to make. I am actually not disappointed with any of these products, with the exception of the Too Faced, and that's strictly to do with the shade and not the product itself. So all of these products actually worked out really well for me, and I'm very happy about that. But I did want to rank them for you just for the shits and giggles. I don't know. I like watching ranking stuff, so I just assume everybody else does too. Maybe I'm wrong, but here we are. All right. Number 9 are the Fenty lip creams. I did pick up all 5 when they launched. And I do have favorites amongst the colors. In particular, these 3 here rank above these 2. So we have Mauve Wives, Honey Waffles, and Fenty Glow down here. I just find that they're really easy to wear regardless of what eye makeup I'm wearing and what color I have going on. They are a very comfortable formula. The same can be said for the shades that I'm just not as big of a fan of. These are very consistent across the line. They're very comfortable lip glosses to wear. They don't travel around. They're not super slippery. They're not sticky. They're a really nice performing product. But again, like I said, I have so many lip products that I just kind of rotate around, and it has to be something really special for me to keep coming back to it over and over again. And these ones just haven't quite risen to that level for me. Coming in 8th place is this cream blush here from Shiseido. This is one of their, what is it called? Minimalist Whipped Powder Blushes. I have it in shade number 3. I believe it's pronounced Momoko. And it's like a really deep burnt apricot kind of shade. I think it's really pretty. I think it blends really nicely. It lasts well throughout the day and still is visible by the end of the workday on my cheeks. I really have no complaints about this at all. Frankly, we're moving into the area of this ranking already where it got really hard to sort of figure out which slot I was going to put these products into. So in no way am I disappointed with this at all. I have been using it quite regularly. However, I do have a project pan going on and I do have a blush in there, so I have been reaching for that one the most, but this is one that I do anticipate getting a lot of use out of. So then that's going to bring us to product number 7, and that one is from Dior. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer, and I have it in shade 2N. I have no complaints about this concealer. I like the doe foot on it. I like the consistency of it. It's not too thick. It's not too watery. It's not too matte. It's not too glowy. Like, it just brightens and covers what I want it to without it like drawing attention to itself. I find that it does wear well throughout the day, although by the end of the day it does show signs of wear, but not to the degree of some other concealers that I have tried. I do think there are better concealers in my drawer that I have, but this one is ranking towards the top of that list. It's just not the best concealer I've tried, but it certainly is a good one. So kind of a lukewarm endorsement on that regard. It's not the best, but it's far from being the worst. It is one that I am going to continue using. I have no regrets in purchasing it, but frankly, there are some drugstore options that are coming in clutch this month. I'm going to spoil one of them in advance. I haven't talked about this one yet. It just arrived a little while ago. It's from The Ordinary. This is the high coverage formula. I think it was like $5 and some change Canadian. It looks better at the end of the day than the Dior. And this one's like 35, 40, somewhere around there. Check out The Ordinary. It's brand new in their lineup. It's good. I'm liking that one. So it kind of puts this one into perspective for me. All right, so the top 6 items here, they definitely can jockey for position. There's really no clear winner. The top 2, I would say, are very securely in the top 2, but number 3 to number 6 inclusive are, you could shuffle them up at any point. These are all sort of on even keel with each other, but I can only talk about one at a time, so here we are. It's a little bit arbitrary, but nonetheless, I have established an order for them. So number 6 is going to be this lip gloss here from Pat McGrath. This is in the shade Divine Rose. I have raved about Pat McGrath glosses since I very first tried one. I love the formula of these glosses. I think it might actually be my very favorite gloss formula. I'm trying to think of other glosses that might outrank it, but this one is definitely way up there. I would say easily top 3. It smells so nice. It's just got like a nice amount of sweetness to it without being cloying or overpowering in any stretch. It feels so nicely on the lips, and it does have fairly good lasting power for being a lip gloss. You're not going to get like 8 hours of wear out of it. It's not going to survive eating. It's not transfer proof, but it does have good longevity for being a lip gloss, but is still not sticky. Because sometimes those two things go hand in hand, and I would rather have a lip gloss that like dips out after an hour than deal with one that is sticky. This is not sticky at all, nor does it feather. It doesn't produce those like strings of disgustingness in between your lips. It's a solid lip gloss. I highly recommend them. I got this one on sale, 50% off. So if you are in the market for a lip gloss and you do want to try out the Pat McGrath formula, I would suggest looking at her website in particular because she often has them on sale for significant discount. All right, top 5, and we have some really fun items here. Coming in 5th place are the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shoppe palettes. These are the 3 that I picked up when they restocked in December. So I picked up Pistachio, which is this incredibly beautiful green one here. I picked up Orange Sorbet, which shockingly is orange. I know, who would have guessed, right? And then I picked up Bubblegum, which is the blue palette. And again, it's just fantastic. The quality of all 3 of these is just impeccable. You would never guess that these were less than $20 each. Like, first of all, the pan size is huge, so it's a very generous palette to begin with. I love the theming of it. I love even just like the minor details, like the little reflective BH here is the corresponding color. So it's just a thoughtful little thing. So like when I have them stacked, because I have 2 others, the only other one I don't have is the nude one, the sugar cone, I think it was called. But if I have them stacked on my shelf, I can see at a glance which one is which without having to like sort through them all and lift them all out of place. And it's a little thing, but I really appreciate that. If you only have one, it's not a big deal, but when you have 5 of them, it's helpful. I really appreciate that. And of course, just the quality of these is phenomenal. The mattes blend beautifully. There is absolutely no complaint on my part regarding pigmentation. The shimmers apply beautifully with your finger, with a brush. They last all day. You don't need a glitter glue. They don't just like transfer down on your face throughout the day. I love these palettes so much. So there we go. Might beg the question as to why they're in 5th place and not even higher. And that's only because I don't tend to reach for them on an everyday basis. So when I was establishing my ranking, I was also looking at the items that I was using over the others, especially when it came to this top 5, trying to figure out exactly what position I was going to put them in. So not only is it just the products that I love, but also what do I get a lot of use out of. So that explains why number 4 goes to Viseart and the Violette palette and why this outranks the BH palettes. It certainly has nothing to do with performance one from the other. They both apply beautifully. I have no complaints about either of them, but this is just a more approachable palette than these monochromatic ones. And I do find that I use this more often for day-to-day wear. So when I'm going to the office, although I own my own office and like I'm certainly not going to fire myself for wearing bright colors. However, when I'm having Zoom meetings, either attending at court or meeting potential clients during a consultation, I tend not to go towards this kind of color story, but this one is most definitely right up my alley. Now, having said that, there are 2 quads that outranked the Viseart Violette, and one of them is most definitely bold. So this one here is the potentially Disco Party or Disco Fever. It says Disco Fever on the site, or at least it did the last time I checked. The palette says Disco Party. From here on out, I'm going to refer to it as the Disco Quad because I don't know which one it's supposed to be. Regardless, there are the shades in there. There are 2 pressed glitters. One of them I love. This one applies like an extremely foiled shadow. This one is a little bit grittier. I haven't worn it on my eyes yet. It is very pretty and it does swatch nicely. I'm just a little hesitant about that one. Honestly, I thought when I looked at this palette that I was going to have a really hard time because there is no transition shade. However, you go in with a really light hand and a fluffy brush and this shears out beautifully. So it is actually a very easy palette to use with the exception of the one pressed glitter. But it just makes for really bold and dramatic looks that are just so beautiful. But this one here has stolen my heart. This one is the Melissa palette, and it has another pressed glitter in it up here, but again, it applies like a really foiled shadow. So you can use it with a brush and just sweep it across the lid. It doesn't like produce little glitter specks all over your face, and this glitter, even without a glitter glue, lasts all day. I've worn it to work for what, 6-7 hours, not had any fading, no creasing, no problem whatsoever. It does transfer up on me, but I have hooded eyes and like literally everything transfers up on me. So I'm not blaming the palette for that. It's my own anatomy. But these two mattes here blend out effortlessly. It's such an easy quad to work with. And this is one that I will rock the hell out of to work whenever, anytime. It's so approachable and yet so impactful on the eyes. And of the two, this is the one that I love even more than this, as much as I love blue. But this one, if you can get your hands on it, the last time I saw it, it was on sale for $5. Even at the full price of $10, I highly, highly recommend this quad. And now we've reached the top two, and these ones I really struggled with. I know they are both squarely at the top. I just don't know which one outranks the other. So, dare I do a tie on the very first time I ever rank my product purchases? I just might. But again, I can only talk about them one at a time. So, okay, let's say that this is number two, but like the difference between the two is like a hair's width. So this one here is the Fenty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I have it in shade 210, just a standard powder foundation compact. It does flip forward. There is a little like spongy doohickey here. It does come with a mirror. I did do a review on this, including a wear test and up close like looks at my skin, all that jazz. I love it so much. It looks beautiful on the skin. Point in fact, I'm not wearing any of these products on my face today, but trust me, this looks gorgeous on the skin. For a little bit of reference, if you're new here, I'm 40 years old. I have normal leaning to dry. It is about as dry as it's going to get at this time of year with the furnace being on and all that jazz. Welcome to Canada. So it is a little dry. I do have some dry patches towards the ends of my nose. I do have fine lines, all that kind of thing. I don't have any oil issues. I don't really have a lot of like scarring on my face or discoloration, anything like that. But this just, it's such a beautiful finish on the skin. I mean, when you think of powder foundation, the risk is always that it's going to look like powder foundation. It's going to be cakey on the skin. It's going to just look like it's dried out. That is not the case with this. It sinks into the skin beautifully. On first application, it does produce just a light amount of coverage, but you can build it up without it looking really cakey and dried out, and it lasts beautifully throughout the day. I did show signs of wear with it over the course of the day, but like, which foundation doesn't? In terms of the wear, this is about as minimal as it gets, and I am a huge fan of this. I have to say, I am a fan of powder foundations, especially in like fall, winter. I tend to avoid them in spring and summer simply because humidity, sweating, it seems like a bit of a risk. This does claim to be sweat proof and waterproof and all that good stuff, but like I haven't been able to put that to the test because like today it's minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. It's effing cold. I couldn't sweat if I wanted to. But I love the ease of application. I am a lazy girl at heart. I don't like spending forever blending things out. This, I don't have to worry about it. I put on a little bit of a hydrating primer, whip this on my face, and I'm good to go. So this one, I highly recommend, love it. So then that's going to bring us to our top spot. That's gonna go to the Nars Claudette collection. The only thing that could make this better is if it was cruelty-free. I will say that straight out of the gate. But this just brings me no end of joy, from the packaging to the ease of application to the longevity of the products, just the whole experience of using these products. The eyeshadows are beautiful. This cheek duo, I freaking love it. It's stunning on the skin. I think it's so beautiful, either one shade or the other or mixed together. It's beautiful on the skin. And then, like I was saying, it takes a lot for a lipstick to bring me back over and over and over again, like multiple times a week. It's rare that I do that, but this one I do. This is the Soft Matte Lipstick in Mathilde. It's just this beautiful nude shade. It's just so comfortable, and soft matte is the perfect descriptor for it because it's got that like blurred effect to the lips, so it's not super drying. It feels like a cream lipstick, and yet it still stays in place well throughout, not the day, but throughout a few hours, we'll put it that way. And it doesn't ever make your lips feel like they're drying out. It doesn't like crack or just gather where you don't want it to. It's such a beautiful product. The packaging just brings no end of joy to my heart. I have absolutely no regrets in purchasing this collection. Yes, it was pricey, but honestly for me, it was worth it. I freaking love these products, all three of them. All right, so there we have it, guys. Those are the products that I picked up in December and how I'm feeling about them a month or so later. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to add. I've rambled on for ages. I have no regrets in the purchases that I made. So here's hoping that my purchases from January stack up just as well as my December ones did, but we will have to wait to see. All right, with all that said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.